Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And my short summon stream is over. I got very, very lucky. 20 pity for Rimuru, and we are not going back in. Before anybody asks, there does not seem to be any free tickets for his banner. There is no Twitter campaign. There is nothing in the shop for him, so you must pull with crystals. He does have also a 6% drop rate, just like Velzard and Milim and Guy's banner, so that is unchanged. And the featured characters are the same as well. He's got Lumi and Guy, and then Dark Milim, Dark Veldora, and Space Milim, or no, Space Milim? Yeah, Space Milim on the team as well. But what does Rimuru do? We already saw his skill preview earlier today. We know that he's got that triple alt swap into rainbow orbs, and I was saying at the time that that doesn't look to be good enough to warrant summoning on a single unit banner. Even if it's got that 6% rate up. So Rimuru is our first AoE light magic character, so he does have value there. He's on Exalted Champion, Shizu Will, Octagram Demon Lord, uses a sword, so very generic. His ult looks very good. I'll give him that. His ult looks very, very good. His skills. AoE light magic, raises allies' magic attack by 5%, so I mean it's got that, so that that's nice. His first skill is an attack buff. Most generic thing you could do is give him an attack buff. And give everybody an attack buff. Yeah, it's not Exalted Champions and Shizu's Will attack 70%. It's everybody gets an attack buff for one turn, for 55 points. Which, I mean, is good. Being unrestricted, being a pretty high buff for 55 points. Like, that's very nice. And then his second skill is the triple alt swap to rainbows once per fight. So once you use it, it's done, and now he just becomes a unit with this skill. His trait, or his valor trait, is a magic seal, which is nice. I do like magic sealing skills in Valor Cup. It's one of the most useful ones for you personally to use when you're fighting. And then his actual trait is when you send 6 greens, you lower the enemy's defense. Not a very good trait. I mean, it will help you a little tiny bit, but definitely, like, if you can pull Rimuru first multi, then do not touch his banner again. Like, he is not worth dupes. But is this good enough? Is this good enough for a 2.5 anniversary banner on a team that already has a lot of support options? I'm going to say no. Straight up, I don't think he's worth it. And if you want to click off the video now because that's my grade for him, then you can certainly do that and save another 5 or 10 minutes of me talking and ranting. But he's a skip. He is a very, very easy skip, especially if you have other support units that you can use on his team. Because, right now, before he came out, we were using Shizuka, right? And no, not everybody has access to Shizuka. So what could you do? You could bring, Coleus Violet, like I'm doing here. You could bring, if you don't have Violet, you could bring Rain for a magic buff. You could bring Mirai for the live mode. You could bring Space Shizu for the alt resistance down, or Space Yuki. There are substitutions. But, as we discovered on stream, if you have Space Rimuru skill fused, this Space Rimuru right here, his 40% attack buff and 30% alt resistance down gives you about 300,000 extra damage than what the brand new Rimuru is doing. Brand new. Right? This original release character with a skill fusion does more damage support than the Rimuru that came out literally 54 minutes ago. 54 minutes ago. Which is, on one hand saying, wow, Space Rimuru's skill fusion is really, really good, which I've always said, he's a really good skill fusion. And on the other hand, it makes the new Rimuru look like a fraud. Right? He is very generic, the new Rimuru. If you literally do not have any support units apart from the new team, maybe not even Violet. If you don't have any support units, you have Violet, you have Guy, or not Violet, you have Guy, Velzard, and Milim. Can you use this Rimuru? Certainly. Is he a necessary component for your team? I do not think so. Not right now, based on the 30 minutes that I had using him. He does have other units that can do what he does, sometimes in a better way. Sometimes in a better way. You do not need this Rimuru. If you are one of those players who has been playing for a medium amount of time, and you already have a team set, this Rimuru is not really going to bring a lot for you, right? If you're a long-time player, you don't need this video, so I don't even need to talk to you. If you are a brand new, I started with this team player, and you have Velzard, Guy, and Milim, then sure, you could either summon for Rimuru, or you could wait another week, because there will be a 5th unit coming out next week, sometime around the same time slot. So like Monday or Tuesday, 13th or 14th, we will get a final 5th unit, and that will take this Violet spot right here. And then you could wait and see, is this Rimuru better? Is this 5th person going to be better than Rimuru? You can make an informed decision at that time. I would not rush into summoning for this Rimuru, because there are other units that can do what he does. Maybe not as well, but they can still support. And that's the important thing. He is very generic, and I will give him that. Any team can use an attack buff. Any team can use this rainbow alt swap, because it's generic, right? It's only alts. It's not Primal Demon alts like Misery or something like that. It's not Exalted Champion's attack, or Shizu's Will, or Octagram attack, right? There's no restrictions on it, which makes him very generic. And normally, I like generic supporting characters. But this is an instance where I'm going to have to walk that back, because there are a plethora of options to choose from. And if this is a support unit that did something incredible, amazing, and he was the first of his kind to give this kind of buff, and it was super generic still, then by all means, I would be like, he's probably pretty good, and he'll probably see a lot of value outside of this meta. But the way he is now, I don't see it. I don't see it. Space Rimuru can do more damage support than him. Violet will do more damage support than him. Space Violet, who came out for the 2nd anniversary in November, right? If you have Shizu, you can use her. You could bring Rain. You could bring Shinsha, Wielder of Magic Shinsha, for that 50% EX alt buff. You could bring 2nd anniversary Shizu. You could bring Light Raphael, right? For his alt resistance down. As long as you don't put the Pierce buff on Milim and you use it early or something like that, you can bring Light Raphael, and he'll probably work just fine. I haven't actually tested that. Maybe I should. But yeah, I don't like this Rimuru. He's generic to the borderline of too basic. And that's not a good thing. Right? Some people will, hear this and say, but you like Violet and she's generic. It's like, yes, that's true, but she's giving a 100% magic buff and orb changing and has a good trait. Right? This Rimuru is alt swapping, okay, cool, to rainbows once. One time in a fight. His attack buff is overshadowed by other people already. That is why I do not consider him super duper worth it. But again, this is my opinion. I know a lot of people take my opinion as law, which, I put these videos out to help people based on my experience of playing the game and how I foresee this continuing. And my opinion is, you don't need him. He will come back on a future banner. I don't know when. 3-6 months down the line. And by then, more units will come out. Units that may be better than him, that will be better than him, because power creep in a gacha game is a guaranteed thing. Just like rate up is a lie. Power creep is guaranteed. So in 3 months, this Rimuru will actually be terrible. Like, legitimately be terrible. So, I don't see a lot of value He's a single featured unit banner, which also hurts him. I really wish they wouldn't do these anymore. I wish they would like combine the last 2 units into one banner and wait another week. I know people would be so pissed off about that and being impatient people, but it really would bring more value to the banner itself. But if you have not pulled all 3 of the characters on this first banner, summon on this banner. If you have pulled these 3 characters on this banner already, don't summon on this banner. Wait another week, see what that final unit does, and then you can make your decision after that. But you have to be smart with your crystals, because the game, unfortunately, does not give out a lot of them. So you have to play it smart and summon on banners with good, lasting value. And that is probably the biggest piece of advice I can give any player starting this game. Choose wisely. Do not throw 2, 3 random multis on every single banner that ever comes out, because then you will have nothing for when a triple featured unit banner comes, and you're going to bitch and complain that you have nothing and the game hates you and you've always been shafted when you've only ever thrown 2 or 3 multis at every single goddamn banner. And this game, spoiler alert, puts out a lot of banners. A lot. Minimum 3 a month. Minimum. So, he ain't worth it. He looks good. His alt looks good. His kit is generic. Too basic. Not worth it. But let me know your thoughts. If you did summon for him, let me know how your summons went. But that's it for me, guys. Also, I put this at the very end of the video. I am gone from tomorrow being Tuesday, the 7th, all the way to Friday, the 10th. I will not be home. So I'm going to record his showcase video now, and it will go up tomorrow. And then we have a whole bunch of videos scheduled out for the week. I will not be home. I will not be able to cover any other new content if it drops during the week until I get home on Friday afternoon. So just that is a heads up for you guys right there. But that's it for me now. Take it easy, and I'm going to go eat dinner. Bye-bye.